Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are going to be breaking down my top 10 roller coasters currently operating in the United States. This is from my personal experience of my 264 credits that I've acquired. Yours definitely might differ, and I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. But let's break right into it. With number 10, we're going to hit Stormchaser, which is now called Wind Chaser, at Kentucky Kingdom. My rides have always been very consistent on this. It's got the same drop as Twisted Timbers, but this one's more focused on the intensity. Very intense rides, got some strong G's, and there's a couple spots with really strong ejector airtime. Overall, a good layout. Not the strongest RMC, but definitely a ride you're going to come off of and think that was awesome. Number 9, this is a ride I haven't been on since 2013. This is Montu at Busch Gardens, Tampa. My first rides on this were insane. I remember going back around about 5 different times to ride this. The invert is probably my favorite model from B&M when it's done correctly, because a bad invert can definitely ruin your ride. But Montu is, from what I remember, my favorite invert, and just a solid layout. It does have a mid-course, but it doesn't slow down that much. My rides were great in 2013, and it solidified it as my favorite invert of all time. At number 8, we're looking at Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. GCI's best work to date, in my opinion. For a while there, I didn't think it was the best. I thought Renegade was a little bit better, but my re-rides on Renegade this year solidified Mystic Timbers as my favorite GCI. It's a smooth ride. It's an intense ride. It's filled with airtime, and it seems like you're just out of control going through the woods. And definitely get yourself a night ride on this thing. It is crazy. Number 7, we're looking at The Boss at Six Flags St. Louis. I believe this is one of CCI's best works. It is their most diverse layout. It's kind of a terrain woody that also has huge sweeping turns. It's got that unique double down first drop that makes you feel like you're about to come off the rails. I do prefer it with the Helix prior to 2018. This thing runs just so aggressively. You got to be ready for a little bit of a bumpy ride. I know they have since put Titan Track on it. I haven't ridden it with the Titan Track. But I don't think that is going to change my opinion about how great this ride is. At number 6, this is going to be a little controversial, but we're looking at Raging Bull at my home park of Six Flags Great America. Normally, I would not put this here, as I just said that the invert is my favorite B&M ride model. But with my rides that I just got this year on Raging Bull, solidified this as not only the best B&M hyper, but maybe my favorite B&M. I don't know. We'll leave that to be decided. It's definitely the best B&M hyper. It's got that good floater airtime that you expect from the hyper, but this one also has a unique twister layout, and it's got even some ejector airtime in a couple spots if you sit towards the back, which has solidified this as probably one of the top rides, not only at Six Flags Great America, but I think maybe a contender in the Midwest as well. Definitely number 6 on my list. Number 5, we're getting into the top 5 now. We're heading to the West Coast for X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain. And of course, how could you make a top rides list without putting X2 on it, right? This thing is insane. It's disorienting. It's very unique. You're not going to find anything else like this, even if you try to go ride one of the SNS 4Ds free spins or whatever. Those are just fun, right? This is intense, and nothing is going to prepare you for this. Even if you've ridden every type of coaster in your life, X2 will still surprise you and leave you kind of confused. And that's exactly what it is. It's a great ride. The spinning is awesome. It's controlled. The layout is very unique. It's definitely a unique experience. And when the effects are working, it adds a whole nother level. Number 4, we're heading back over to the East Coast for I305. It's now called Pantheon. It's a super intense Intamin Giga coaster. It's got the speed and whip like Maverick does, and that's kind of what people call it. They call it a bigger version of Maverick, like Cedar Point. but you just get tossed around like a rag doll on this thing if you're not ready for the turns and the changes of direction. And there is a trim, but I don't think it takes away from the ride too much. All right, here we go. Top 3, staying on the East Coast, Twisted Timbers. I basically call this a mini Steel Vengeance. If Steel Vengeance and Stormchaser had a baby, this is what they would have made. It's got that same barrel roll drop. The barrel roll drop doesn't really do anything. It's sort of just a unique element. But what comes after that is very similar to Steel Vengeance. Just airtime hill after airtime hill. And there's even some off-axis airtime in there as well. There's like a little quick change S-bend airtime hill thing going on. So great ride, but wasn't good enough to beat out what I just compared it to, and that is at number 2 is Steel Vengeance. And I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack for this, but even with how good Steel Vengeance is, people still say it's overhyped, and I used to be one of those people too. I used to put Twisted Timbers above Steel Vengeance, but my rides this year truly prove that incorrect. Steel Vengeance is the king of Cedar Point, and I think it's the king of RMCs as well. It's a crazy ride with just an insane amount of airtime, ejector airtime, with that you are out of your seat multiple times. Every hill, it seems, you're out of your seat. Even the inversions, you're out of your seat. You get an airtime on the inversion under the lift hill there. So it's just a crazy ride, and it's an experience unlike any other. Before we hit number 1, I do want to hit a few honorable mentions that I could not leave off of this list. Shivering Timbers is one that I want to talk about. It's CCI's version of a B&M Hyper, basically. It's a floater airtime machine. It's an out and back Woody. It's airtime all the way out, and then there's a little turnaround where you get yanked down, and it's airtime all the way back. It's if you love airtime, you're gonna love this thing. I think it was running great last year on my rides. I got 6 or 8 rides on it, and it was running great. You do have to kind of prepare yourself, though. There was a couple potholes, I know. Since then, I know they have put gravity group track on one of the hills and also RMC 208 track. So maybe those potholes are gone. But it offers a great ride. No matter where you sit, you're going to get that floater airtime. I want to talk about Pantheon as well, because this ride blew me away when I rode it a couple years ago. It is a short ride, and I know that is the main thing people criticize this for. It's not themed very well. It's kind of very confusing to figure out what it's themed after, but once you get the idea, you get the idea, whatever. That swing launch is the main thing I want to talk about with this ride. The swing launch is what, in my opinion, solidifies Intamin as the king of the launch coaster nowadays. It was really intense. You hear that sound, the brrr or whatever of the LSM's kicking in, and you get that airtime going backwards. You just don't expect it. And the layout's really cool as well, too. There's, that stall. There's the outer bank that you get some good airtime on. But I agree, it is a short ride, which keeps it off the list here. I want to talk about Banshee as well, because not only is the invert my favorite model, this is one of my favorite inverts. It just didn't make the list. So Banshee, Kings Island, obviously. It is a modern, sort of sleeker take on the B&M invert. It's still really intense. You just don't get the head rattle as much because you've got the vest restraints on, which I appreciate. I don't mind them at all. Still a super intense ride. The inversions are great. It just doesn't hold up to Montu, in my opinion. I do prefer the older B&M inverts. And, of course, we can't do a top list without talking about El Toro. I want to talk about El Toro real quick. I think it was a little overhyped for me, but it was still an insane ride. It's a great layout. It did run a little bit aggressive on my rides in 2023. I know they're working on fixing that up, but it's still a crazy wooden roller coaster. I cannot believe this thing is real. The drop was amazing in the back row. And I just couldn't justify putting it above any of the rides on this list. I know, I'm sorry. But here we go, moment of truth. Number 1. My number 1 roller coaster is the Voyage at Holiday World. And I know you're all going to say that, oh, the Voyage is overrated, it's rough. It's not at all. It's none of those things. Don't listen to anybody who says the Voyage is rough. Holiday World does a great job of keeping this thing running as smooth as possible. Does it have some potholes? Of course. That's any wooden roller coaster. It's going to have some potholes. But 90% of the ride is always running as smooth as it can. And that's another thing. The layout is crazy long on this thing. The only time you seem to get any sort of, like coming up for air is that mid-course. And when they're running it without the mid-course, good luck, because you're not going to get any sort of breathing time. The Voyage, my favorite ride. I want to know down in the comments, though. I want to know what you think of my list, and also what I left off that maybe you classify as your top 10 ride. Let me know down in the comments. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave me a comment as to what kind of videos you guys want to see next. We'll see you guys soon.